Hey, what's up? I'm Brianne Williamson. Thank you so much for clicking on this video. Today, we are recapping the Ultimatum Queer Love Reunion Special. Now, this one was juicy, and I'm going to be giving you all of my opinions today, just as I have been all season long. Y'all know at this point that I don't hold back. I'm a reality TV fanatic, have been my whole life. I'm absolutely obsessed. And honestly, I can't believe it's taken me this long to react to it right here on my channel because it's everything that I love. It's queers and it's reality television, and I get to talk about it with all of you, and that just feels like Christmas every day. If you missed my reaction videos, there's a reaction to every single episode right here on my channel. Now, this was a very new reality show that had just dropped on Netflix, so I did not want to risk copyright by reacting to the show in real time. However, I am planning my next series where I will be reacting to a throwback queer reality television show. I am taking votes right now in the comments. I think some frontrunners are I Kissed a Girl, Are You the One, the queer season, Tila Tequila, and the Real L Word. That's what I'm seeing the most of. And for those shows, when I do the reaction series, I will be actually watching and reacting on screen with all of you. So I think that'll be a fun addition to this series. We kind of got our, we got our toes wet with this one. Is it feet wet or toes wet? That sounded weird when it came out of my mouth. Toes wet? The more I say it, the grosser it gets. But I can't wait to keep doing these reaction series with all of you. So let me know which one you want me to react to next down below. And as always, it really helps me out as a queer creator if you follow and turn your post notifications on. I know it's super easy just to find these videos on your homepage or anywhere on the internet and click and watch and then skedaddle. But as a queer creator, it really helps me out if you take the 2 seconds. It's free to do. Hit that subscribe button, give this video a big thumbs up, and make sure your post notifications are turned on because the next couple weeks, we're going to be a little wonky all over the place with my uploads. Regularly, I do a Wednesdays and Sundays. Then with this series, because Netflix dropped 10 episodes like basically all at once, I was posting almost every day. And then over the next couple weeks, I've got a bit of travel. So I'm honestly just going to throw videos up on any day I can get them up. I'm not going to worry too much about Wednesdays, Sundays. And then after that, as we get into our next reaction series, I'm going to go back to a regular schedule of Wednesdays and Sundays. So all that to say, it's going to be a little chaotic just for a little bit, and those post notifications are really going to help you out finding these videos when I upload them. Before we jump in, I also want to say thank you so much for supporting us over at Basement 51 series on Instagram. Basement 51 is my queer scripted web series that I wrote, directed, produced, and act in. And it's going to be coming to my channel for free in the fall, so any support really helps us out. That is like my full passion in life, and my dream is for that show to eventually get picked up, to be made into a full-blown TV series. So in order to do that, any support really helps us out, and I think you guys are really going to love it. I cannot tell you how much content is happening behind the scenes right now that I can't release yet. 6 episodes of the web series. We've got really fun cast challenge videos and behind the scenes videos that are going to be coming your way, and so much more that I can't tell you about yet. So I'm just so excited with the content that's going to be coming to this channel. I'm super proud of it. So I appreciate y'all being here, and I can't wait for y'all to see what's coming next. All right, let's jump into the reunion episode. My guess before I clicked play on this episode, after watching the chaos of this season, and to be honest, how some of these proposals went down, I guess that only 2 of these couples were still going to be together. I'll put the couples on the screen right here. Turns out I was very wrong. Like, I was shocked at the amount of couples that were still together, and honestly seemed like they were in a great place. I say that with a grain of salt because this is a reunion show, so I'm sure a lot of these couples kind of came in with a plan, a bit of a communication of like, hey, we looked really crazy on the show. In some cases, they had families that I know they mentioned during this reunion episode we're going to be watching, that they were concerned about watching the series. So maybe they were like, you know what? For the reunion, let's at least put on a united front because we were a little messy for the whole season, and it might be nice for our families to see us a little more grounded for once. And for those of you who don't know, before they go on these reunion specials, they are allowed to watch all the episodes. So when they filmed this, the season wouldn't have been released yet to the public, but they would have been given all the episodes to watch because obviously when they sit down for the reunion, they're going to want them to talk about what they see on the show. Obviously, certain things might be revealed to them that they didn't know about before. So a lot of them are fresh off of just watching the season themselves, which would be wild because you've already experienced all this, and then your partner has told you what went down in their words, but then you get to watch it back. Like, you get to watch the footage back and be like, okay, you did tell me about this, but you didn't tell me about the Brussels sprouts. And I believe that this reunion was filmed about a year after the show was filmed itself. So these couples have had time. For that reason, it's interesting to see how many of them were still together. But also, I do feel like they were given a bit too much time. I hate to be the drama lover, but a year is a long time before you come back, and it's water under the bridge. You know what I mean? Like, if you haven't gotten over it in a year and you're still harping on things that happened a year prior, it's like, come on now. So I get why they wait, because they're hoping like things change in their lives. Maybe some of them have got married. Maybe some of them have broken up since the show. They want it to be different than the place they left on the final day of filming. However, I do think it would be better for it to be like 3 months after, because I think enough things would have shifted, but they'd still have those heightened emotions, because a lot of them during this reunion, it kind of let me down in a really psychopathic way, a reality lover psychopathic way. They seemed like they just kind of didn't want to dive back into the drama, which is the whole point of a reunion. They seemed like they just wanted to be like, you know what? That chapter's closed. We're good now. We don't want to rehash old shit. Which, like, come on. That's what a reunion's for. The exception to the rule on this was Marie. Marie walked in, hell hath no fury like a woman scorned, all right? Marie embodied that, because she walked in and she was ready to throw down her opinions and let the people know. Britney and AJ are there. They're still engaged. It was super funny to see the montage of how often AJ talks in third person. That would be the trippiest thing about going on reality TV, because you would see so much about yourself that you maybe don't notice that everyone else does. And that was pretty funny to watch. I thought it was interesting that during the show, they talked about AJ and Britney meeting up a couple times during the experience for AJ to kind of check in on Britney. However, during the reunion, it was revealed that AJ and Britney were kind of hanging out the whole time, which, don't get me wrong, I ship AJ and Britney. I'm happy they're together, but it makes me feel like their reasons for going on the show potentially were a little bit phony. Maybe something to do with social media clout. I don't know, that they weren't fully diving in, because, and as much as Marie's not necessarily my favorite person going, and I disagree with her on a lot of fronts, I do think that she was ripped of the opportunity to dive in as well, because she was paired up with AJ, who during the dating phase presented herself as like very full throttle, willing to dive in. Like, I'm single now, Britney's my ex, I'm flirting with all these girls, like full on. And then the second the trial marriages started, AJ kind of shut down, and it was revealed that during those 3 weeks, AJ was with Marie and Britney was with Marita, that AJ and Britney were just talking and hanging out the whole time, which that's not the show, you know? So it feels like they were kind of just doing it to do it. Neither of them were willing to really experience it fully with their partner, and they kind of just kept leaning on each other. I don't think that's fair to the rest of the cast. I don't think it's fair to their trial marriage partners, and I totally got where Marie was coming from with that. And yeah, I found that pretty disappointing. We have Ashley and Marita, who have broken up and seem like they were way up and down after the show. Like, they broke up on the show, they didn't get engaged, but then they got back together, and then Ashley was saying to Marita that she did want to marry her, and Marita reveals that Ashley asked her dad for her hand in marriage and then didn't propose, and then Ashley cheated on her, and then Ashley rebuttals with, you cheated on me, and there's multiple dying grandparents involved in this story, and all of it is just a mess. It's so chaotic and so dramatic, and the whole time you're watching it, all you can think is, thank God you guys aren't together. And then at the end, they're like, but who knows about the future? I've been thinking about it. Maybe we should get back together. No. Like, it was so insane. I'm gonna have to do a deep dive and figure out if they're still still together to this day because it was just wild to see. And yeah, at one point, Marita was yelling that she hates Ashley. Ashley was like, "You've cheated on me so many times." It was a mess. As weird as that was, however, the weirdest part for me was that Marie kept piping in. Ashley and Marita, neither of which Marie seemingly had any connection with on the show, was not seemingly close to, was not trial partnered up with either of these people. Marita's saying Ashley cheated on her while her grandpa's dying. And then Marie keeps cutting in and being like, "Were you together though? Were you together? I don't know if you were really together. Were you together?" And Marita's like, "Why are you getting involved?" It was really weird that Marie seemed to care this much about that issue. So I'm wondering if after the show, her and Ashley got close. I don't know. It seemed very odd. Then we have Mel and Marie, who, based on Marie's entrance to the reunion, and no surprise here, are no longer together. And we have Brussels sprout gate. Honestly, I was thinking their breakup was going to be a lot more messy. I thought they were going to be talking about Mel was still reaching out to Dana, or there was some cheating involved, or whatever. They didn't really say much. I wish that the host was a different host. I'm kidding. Besides that point, I wish the host pressed them more on certain issues. I think she kind of skimmed over certain things and then dived into other things that didn't feel very relevant. One of which was their breakup and why they broke up. Marie seems like she has this gotcha moment. And I'm thinking she's going to say some crazy reveal about something that Mel did on the show or after the show. Turns out it was just Brussels sprouts. She was super pissed that Mel made Dana Brussels sprouts. I guess it was her Brussels sprout recipe. Of all the things that Mel has done, that we have witnessed Mel do, of all the things we saw Mel do this season, the thing that Marie seemed most pissed off about was those Brussels sprouts. She needed to know, Dana, did you like them? Did you like them? Dana's sitting there like, I guess. Like, it was so weird. You'd think she'd be harping on something to do with Mel and Dana's like intimacy or something that Mel had said to Dana, but it was the Brussels sprouts. Which makes me realize I need to try these Brussels sprouts. I think Marie should release this recipe behind a paywall because the amount of lesbians out there that need to know why these Brussels sprouts are so important. I'd pay. Even better, start your own food truck, a Brussels sprout food truck. Pull up to any lesbian bar, Brussels sprouts, you're selling out. Lesbians love a Brussels sprout. Then we try and get to the bottom of if Mel and Dana did have sex. They seem to not want to talk about it. This is what I'm talking about with the reunion being a year too late. It feels like they just don't want to rehash old stuff, which is the point of a reunion. So it's kind of annoying. But based on their personal understandings of what sex is, Dana is saying that they didn't have sex. Mel is saying that they did. I think it just shows the chaotic blurred lines to lesbians and sapphics of what sex is. And to me, it doesn't really matter, right? Like, we're splitting hairs here. Kyle and Bridget reveal that they're still engaged, and they also mention that they're now living together. And my question was, you weren't living together before this? You went on a show called The Ultimatum, and you weren't even living together before? Like, weren't there more steps to be done before getting on a show this crazy? I don't know. I thought that was so strange, but I'm very happy for them. They seem very happy. Pilar talks about her family and what has changed and reveals that, you know, she doesn't have the full circle moment she was hoping for. However, that there has been change in personal empowerment in her queerness. And I thought this was so cool of her to share because I think that as queer people, we're taught that the golden thing to chase at the end is family, being fully accepting. And while, of course, that's something that we hope for ourselves and for each other, that's not always going to be the case. So being accepting of your own queerness and empowered in it and not letting other people's opinions on your queerness affect your choices for your entire life can be the goal. You know, the goal can be different depending on your journey. And I loved that Pilar shared her experience with this, of her own personal growth being something that was so amazing to her, and that she doesn't require external validation as much anymore because of empowering herself to just be proud of who she is, and little things like introducing Dana as her fiance. So I loved her sharing that because I think that's something that's so powerful to hear as queer individuals, you know, that are happy ending doesn't have to look the same as everyone else's. However, I do feel like Pilar was still kind of taking the blame for what happened with Haley and Megan, saying that she like wasn't there for Haley and that's why she found that with Megan. I don't know. I didn't really like that. Haley somehow got out of all this scot-free. It's amazing. I think she's just that damn likable that she somehow got out of it, because I think if she had a different type of personality, was a different type of person slightly in the way that people perceive her in the world, her actions would be taken very differently on this show. Haley also seemed to let Megan off the hook when they left. It was like, we're not talking anymore. Haley was like, you're gaslighting me. Like, I'm not picking up what you're throwing down. Why are you just pretending everything didn't happen with us? And then on this reunion, she's just kind of letting Megan off the hook. And I think, again, that speaks to that it's a year later. And at this point, she really just doesn't care. You know, she's engaged. She's got a fiance. It's a year later. Clearly, her and Megan are going to happen. But I would have liked to see a follow-up conversation like a month, 2 months, 3 months after that last conversation they had on the show, because I feel like it would have been more interesting to see them unpack it then. The jaw-dropping line for me on the show is when Dana said that their reason for going on the show, her and Megan, was to show people in their family that they were normal. For once, I don't think I need to say anything more on that. Dana and Megan are still together, though, and it seems like things are getting better with Megan's family, so I'm super happy for them with that. Marie and Mel were just eye-rolling and scoffing through this whole thing. It was so strange to see. Marie especially, you could tell she just did not want to be there. She was contractually obligated. She was showing up for the amount of time she needed to, and then she was getting the hell out. If y'all didn't see on their Instagrams, a bunch of them went out afterwards, after this reunion was filmed. Actually, all of them did, except for Marie. Marie was invited. Someone clarified in the comments. However, she was the only one who didn't attend. So she truly was getting in and getting out. And that is a wrap on season 2 of The Ultimatum Queer Love. I had a blast recapping this with all of you, and I cannot wait for our next reality review, recap, reaction series. Let me know what show you want me to react to next. And again, it helps me out big time if you subscribe and turn those post notifications on. And I'll see y'all in the next one. Bye.